Greetings and welcome back to Gettysburg once again. I hope you have all had a Merry Christmas. I certainly have, and onwards to the turn then. Now that we're back to it after our little break, so let's see how he responds to my pulling back a little bit. It's hazy this morning.
Winter is gone and spring has come once more. The rebels rejoice that winter is no more. For now it is spring and the leaves are growing green. The rebels rejoice that they cannot be seen.
I think I should have definitely played more maneuver on day one, but
Home, dearest home, in this our country, where the roses in bud and the blossoms on the tree, and the lark is singing home to North Missouri.
We have taken up arms in defense of our farms, and if the Federals trouble us, we'll surely do them harm. For we have declared that our land shall be free, but if they stay away, how quiet we will
that
be.
will be just horrific to attack. So many guns.
We will be home, dearest home, in this our country, where the rose is in bud and the blossoms on the tree, and the lark is singing home to North Missouri. The rebels from their homes are compelled to go and stay in the woods, in the bushes, thick and low. For if they go home and their attempt to stay, the Federals will come and force them away. Then away from
Kill zones on with his guns.
they will be, away from their homes in their own country, where the rose is in bud and the blossoms on the tree.
Okay, Candy is the 12th Corps, I know that much for sure. So we've got elements of the 12th Corps here at the very least, so I'm thinking 12th Corps, first 11th, first, third, I don't know where the second, the fifth, so yeah, we don't know where the fifth, the second, and the sixth but otherwise I have a good idea how his line is laid out.
Where the rose is in bud and the blossoms on the tree, and the lark is singing home to North Missouri.
Let's speed this up a little bit.
Now my song is almost ended, and since it is so,
5,000.
back to the wars with all speed I must go, with my gun in my hand and my jacket also blue. My dear friends, I must bid you adieu. Then away from my home, away I will be. Away from my home and away, dear, from me, where the rose is in bud and the blossoms on the tree, and the lark is singing home to North Missouri.
I can't really afford to let him prepare more.
When the war is over, I will return to thee, and we will get married if we can agree. And when we are joined in wedlock's happy band, then we never more will take the parting hand. But home, soon home, home we will be. Home, dearest home, in this our country,
Maybe an hour or so away.
and the blossoms on the tree, and
I suppose I could somewhat delay. I look to try and seize this ground for now, with my claws as a springboard for when Hood arrives. It would certainly make the attack a little bit more.
All you Southerners now draw near, and to my story approach. You hear each loyal soul.
It would make my attack a bit more coherent.
Victory gained at Shiloh.
And it will give him a choice.
That night we lay upon the ground, no tents nor shelters could be found.
Alright, he's placed his cavalry there now.
We almost drowned on our way to Shiloh.
Oh, is he abandoning the position? It looks like he is. If only partially. Oof. Ow.
When the Shiloh hove in view, it would the bravest heart subdue to see them Yankee motley crew that held.
Okay, there was more there. Oof. Let's see how bad that was.
'For they were strongly
16th Mississippi routed.
batteries on the rear side. Our general
Lost about 200 men there.
cried, "We'll get hot work at Shiloh."
Well, we're certainly getting hot work here. That much is clear. You can withdraw back up there. I merely wanted to see what is in front of me, and well, I have now seen. So we'll start over here for a change. 35th Virginia Cavalry Battalion, you are going to head this way. Oh, hello there. That's Davis's 3rd Indiana Cavalry.
Third, and the swabs they charge, the batteries they give each year's a general regard rang the years with southern steel at Shiloh.
Two taverns.
Their guns and knapsacks they threw down, they ran like hares before hounds. The Yankee Dutch could not withstand
what do I
the
want to do?
southern charge at
For the most part, we're just going to open up, I think.
We took the field shine.
And just attempt to somewhat weaken the Federal line. We're going to struggle because of all the blasted breastworks, but for now, we're going to have to try and somewhat weaken the Federal artillery. There we go, there's one gun. In the meantime, I'm actually just going to pull them back further to where the guns are. I just don't want to attack that spot. Ugh.
Many are the hearts looking for the light to see the dawn of
I should have heeded a quote from the film Gettysburg. The town is of no military significance because it is not. Well then, for now, I'm gonna have to just pull these lot back behind the slope, I think. Wilcox, you are going to send that regiment forward. And then you are going to go try and reorganise your chat. Why am I doing that? Over here. Unlimbered some more guns. And then we'll bring up Iverson's brigade. We are just gonna try and weaken him with cannon fire. It's not very effective though. As you can see, 6 men here, 6 men there. Not at all effective. You chaps, however, should at least have somewhat effective cannon fire. There we go. Another Federal gun knocked out. Alright, Maho. Where are you, Anderson? There you go. You can go stand there for me.
Well, the fearful struggle's ended now, and peace
I
smiles
was
on
going
our
to
land.
shift right
Though
round, wasn't I?
we have proved ourselves a faithful band. We fought 'em long, we fought 'em well, we fought 'em night and day, and bravely struggled for our rights while we're in
Basically,
the
just
grave.
shift.
Now that we have ceased to fight, pledge the sacred
forces.
word that we against the Union's might no more will draw the sword. We feel, despite the sneers of those who never smelt the fray, that we've a manly, honest right to the wearing of the gray. Our cause is lost no more, we fight against overwhelming power. All wearied o'er our limbs and drenched with many a battle shower, we fain would rest for want of strength, we yield them up today. And Lord, the flag so proudly borne while
Alright, I've
wearing
got 7
of
men
the
there.
gray. But defeat is not dishonor, no, not left. We should thank God that in our breast this priceless boon is left. And though we weep, 'tis for those braves that stood in proud array beneath our flag, and they nobly died.
Alright,
while
I'm
we're in
enfilading
the
him
gray.
here. So that should be very useful. Should be very effective. And then you just open fire on them. Inflict a bit of casualties on them. These 2 regiments of the brigade will shift this way. I'll come back to Hill. I'm not sure what I want to do with the rest of Hill and Johnson at the moment. Hence why I've moved on to McClaws. Let's get McClaws done and dusted nice and early. We'll shake McClaws out for that. Barksdale out.
When in the ranks of war we stood and faced the deadly hail, our simple suits of grey composed our only coats of mail. And of those awful hours that marked the bloody battle day, in memory we still see the wearing of the grey.
Get rid of those. That's 11th Corps troops. Interesting.
For everyone who for the right his soldier life laid down, God grant to us the privilege upon that happy day.
The Pulaski,
Of
Georgia
clasping hands with those who fell wearing
battery.
of the gray.
Some more Georgians. Alrighty, McClaws. You are in effective command. We'll bring this element of cavalry this way, as Seams will move up and basically go, hello, you're nowhere through here. And I will also just place him in such a way. It's a bit of a weird spot to place him, to be fair, but because of the way the terrain is, he's sort of going to get smidged like that a little bit. Florida Brigade, Posey is already. AP Hill. Right, now I remember what I was doing. I was looking to move the entirety of Anderson's division. I did not mean to do that. Oh well. Just going to delay delay me a turn or so. But it was to have Anderson's division shift round to the side to help McLaws, and then have Pender take where Anderson is right now. And then have Heath basically move to where Pender is now. That was more or less the plan. You both go that way, you get to go here and rejoin your battery. Thomas, you will fall back. Davis, Davis will shift along, as Davis is going to be responsible for this. You are McIntosh. Alright, Archer. There's nothing subtle about what I'm doing, unfortunately. However, subtle or not, I'll pull back them because, well, they belong to Lee. Let's bring Hood up. He's gonna be another hour, couple of hours away from getting into the fight properly. And by getting into the fight properly, I mean with his whole present command at the moment, because, well, Law isn't here. Alexander's batteries. Washington artillery. And divisional wagon. No one has arrived, because again, no one arrives until 9:20, which is actually Jeb Stewart. Old Jeb Stewart will arrive, and he's then got hours and hours and hours to get to the field. Hmm. 14th Virginia. You are basically going to watch my flank. A.G. Jenkins. Jenkins. You go here. Nah. we'll leave Jenkins where he is, and these boys aren't. The Marylander cavalry are never going to rally because, well, their leader is not actually here. You will charge off down the Emmetsburg Road and head this way to get onto the Tawnytown Road and see if there's anything coming up from Tawnytown. Longstreet. Have a look to get something actually. Stacking. No. Never mind. I will check that out some other time. Who else is there to do? Obviously, Anderson is going to hold off. A little unfortunate with various situations. Still, that's all Anderson, so you can go there. And what's left of Heath's wagons. Right, let's think. Still, a minor victory thanks to that loss of a gun. I've lost 5-3 to what? 4-8? 5-3 to 4-8. That's not bad. 500 more losses. Well, 700 rather. I can't do math. Math hard. Still. I'm actually quite happy with the overall situation. We will head to Mrs. Wolf and take up position there. You boys, I want you to get onto the part of Wolf Hill where you can see everything, but the problem is, where is that again? That's the best you're gonna get, really, with Wolf Hill. Let's see. Yeah, you'll go up there. Well, hello there, boys. Ran across some cav. So yeah, the 12th corps must be along here. 1st corps, say here. 11th corps, say here. at least as far as I can tell. Might be the other way round. 3rd Corps down here because I recognise the sharpshooters and I know whose brigade that is, and it belongs to the 3rd Corps. Still, all things considering, the situation is not exactly comfy for him. If I can reorganise Mahone's troops quickly, he might be able to just put the pressure on here. Force the Federals to make a choice. Turn and face one force, or turn and face the other. Or fall back and get chased and harried all the way back. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least, though. Scales. Still, I need to reorganise this mess a bit, but for now it'll have to do. Long range, so it's not going to do a lot, but hey ho. 2 losses is 2 losses. Alright, early, you can go there. Again, I really want to assault over here, so it's more a case of just milling about, looking for opportunities. Let's bring up Nelson's battery, a battalion of guns, 10 guns. We'll put 6 and 4, go for 6 and 4, when inevitably we set them up here, but that's going to be very difficult, because that's another reason I don't want to. Just because of that horrific chaos crossfire that they will be in from all those guns. 50 odd Federal guns all shooting at them. Not worth it. Still, Hood is almost here, at least with his lead brigades. Law arrives at 10. Jimmy Kemper and Pickett, along with Garnett, arrive at 2:20. And then 20 minutes later, Armistead arrives, but they're not going to get into the fight before dark, so... Still, I think that is it. Everything else that is available to move is not going to move because of, well, the case of it moves, it will probably end up being shot to death by Federal artillery. No thank you. Or I have no desire to move it yet, such is the case with Rhodes and Early. So let's push on to the melee phase. Now this one I am willing to do, and just overrun that small detachment of Federal cavalry that was there. It's not a lot, but 21 cavalry is 21 cavalry removed from the field. It disrupted me, but they're low ammo anyway, so... Onwards. These boys here are basically going to head on to the Town Road and see where the Federal flank ends. I want to find it. Cavalry loss or no cavalry loss, I need to find it. For now, however, we will push on to the next turn. So far, I've managed to keep it as a minor rebel victory, but we shall see. Especially with the upcoming grand assault that I'm going to have to try and do. But for now, we will push onwards. So, I thank you all for watching once again, and I will see you all next time. As I said at the start, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and are going to have a good New Year. And I will see you all with the next turn soon enough. So until then, bye bye for now.